Good morning, YouTube. My name is Will.
Lotus. Enzo.
Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time stopping in, we're going to do an FAQ video today. So this is where I basically post a photo up on the community tab. You guys leave your questions and I try to go through and answer some of them. We're doing this kind of in lieu of our typical weekly live stream during the summer.
Go say hi.
All right, so as I said, I post these on the community page. So as I said, I post these on the community tab so you guys can leave your questions. While I'm pulling it up here, I do want to remind you guys that we are still taking donations for Hera. So if you donate to Hera, the links are below. We will send you a couple free stickers. I think the camera's a little crooked. So as I was saying, if you donate to Hera, you can DM us on Instagram or Facebook, your name, address, and a screenshot of the donation, and we will send you some free stickers. Are you in a good spot? Is that good? So we're actually out back right now again. So we're actually out back right now doing this. What was it? Did you get it? Actually, as I'm doing this, upstairs, my computer is rendering Lotus's birthday vlog, so I know a lot of you have been asking for that. It'll already be up by the time you're watching this. However, if you missed it, go back and check it. It'll be up like the day prior to this. Let's see, we got 108. Definitely not going to get through them all, but we'll see what we can get through. First question is from Leela AA. I have a 9-week-old German Shepherd. She is very aggressive, not necessarily, but she always wants to bite, and when she gets corrected, she does, but stops. She does stop, but mostly growls too. When it comes to a 9-week-old, I mean, they're 9 weeks old. I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into that. So we do have a video on puppy biting. I'll link it below. Any videos or anything like that I mentioned, I will link below. I'll put them up in the corner as well, but you can only put so many up there. So I'll also put them all down in the notes. But we have a video on the biting, some things that you can do, some tips and tricks. We have also partnered with Robert Cabral, which I'll link below if you want to start doing some online training. You can't do like crazy stuff with a 9-week-old puppy, but you can definitely start. I mean, you should definitely be doing things from day one. So Scare Gamer asks, I am going to get a German Shepherd in the future. If it not too much to ask, what all the stuff you had for them the first night home? So we actually have a video on this, and I will put that below as well. Yale asks, my 2-year-old German Shepherd is doing great after battling anxiety for the first year. So that's good. He loves to be with me and my family, but there are times he's like a toddler and won't go out in the backyard without me watching him. I have 2 older female dogs and he won't even go outside with them. Could this be a confidence issue? It could be. It could also just kind of be an attachment issue. So it could just be that, he's just kind of attached to you and wants to know where you're at and where you're going. It could be confidence. I would say that if you live alone, that's going to be harder, but it sounds like you say you and your family, so I'm assuming more people there live with you. I would say it's something you're just going to have to work on, have other people take him outside, put him on a leash, put him on a harness, whatever, and it's something you're just probably going to have to work on. You're probably not going to want to do it at night before you're going to bed because you're going to not want to spend an hour out there. But, those mid-afternoon potty breaks are a perfect time to let somebody else in the family deal with it and just kind of get him used to that. Dap D asks, I have a German Shepherd mixed with Husky. He'll be a year old next month and he's very active. I bet he is. When he meets or sees new people, he gets very anxious, excited, and jumps up on people, which is not ideal. What tips can you provide to help us with the excitement when he's meeting new people? So that's a very common thing. The easiest way is it's hard with COVID, but obviously once we're at a point where it's safe, I would try to have him meet more people so that way you could practice it. But there's things you can do, simple things, such as just a distraction, a toy, a treat, something like that. Toss a treat on the ground, toss a toy, whatever that might be. If they're getting really excited, you could always do like the timeout technique where, you just place them in a sit gently. If you can't command them to sit, if you just gotta kind of put your hand on their neck and a little bit on their lower back, gently just kind of guide them down into a sit for just a few seconds. I like to have them make eye contact, and then as soon as they make eye contact, I release them. That just teaches them that, okay, I need to chill out. Basically, they want to be excited and have fun because of the new person, it'll be pretty quick before they realize like, hey, when I do this behavior, I'm not allowed to do what I want to do. I'm not allowed to be free, so I will stop doing that behavior. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not a light switch, but if you work on it, you could get to that point. You could also do the training like I mentioned earlier. Rohan asked, at what age did you switch from puppy to adult food? So we use, which is in our Amazon store, link below. It's puppy and adult. So we didn't switch. With Enzo, we went by with whatever the bag said at the time, which I want to say was maybe around a year. Martin Daly asks, where did you get your names? So it's just a car theme. Taylor Elliott asks, I have a 1-year-old German Shepherd who is aggressive because of fear. We took him to the vet for his shots, and the vet snatched him out of the back of the truck. And then when he freaked out, the vet said he would have to come back another day and sedate him to be seen. I'm really thinking of finding another vet. I've worked really hard with Kovu, I think is how you say his name, on his aggression, and he is now to a point where after he meets someone, he is fine, and I can take him in PetSmart without him growling or barking at everyone. That's good. What would y'all do in this situation? Well, assuming I'm not in jail for beating the crap out of that vet, I would definitely not go back there, because if anybody snatches one of my pups, I'm going to snatch them. I certainly wouldn't allow them to sedate. That is actually one of the reasons that we left our previous vet. Is I think it was a mistake, honestly. I think it was a clerical error of some sort, but somehow Enzo got flagged as aggressive and needed to be muzzled. Now, obviously he's running around back here playing, but for those of you who followed along, Enzo is teddy bear. So that's just, and he had never been at the vet without us, so like this never happened. So that was one of the reasons we left. I would definitely leave. I would keep working. It sounds like you're making great progress. I would definitely leave though. So as you know, Lotus struggles a lot with anxiety and anxiousness. So the vet has always been a trying day for him. We had several vets. The vet we went to, well, still technically the vet that we go to as well. There's several of them there, so you may not always see the same one unless you request it. He had seen several different ones, and some had done better than others. But when we ended up switching to the new place, again, he went and saw the first lady, and she is about the same. But then we went in, and he saw this other girl, and she has shepherds. She has a shepherd that's just like him, that's anxious like him. So when he's doing his whole, like, acting like I'm going to attack you, she was just like, oh, come here, boy, like, no big deal. Because she knew, she understood, and it was like a light switch difference. You know, he was I mean, it's not to say he's not still nervous and anxious, but totally different mentality. So if you got to go through a dozen different vets till you find the right one, I say do it. And don't ever let anybody snatch your puppy out of your car or truck or whatever. Icarus to the stars. I have a 4-month-old German Shepherd. He doesn't like it when my parents hold his leash, only me when we go on walks, and he doesn't like seeing other people on a walk either. When I take him to Lowe's, he gets pretty anxious. He doesn't seek out attention from the people who want to pet him. He doesn't really like people, but he does let people pet him. So you have to realize that just like people, pups, they're not going to be friends with everybody necessarily. I mean, they have their own personalities. Obviously, you've seen Lotus. You know, some pups just aren't going to be that teddy bear, everybody come pet me type of pup. You know, while yes, we're always working with Lotus, and I encourage you to do the same, I'm also fine with the fact that, you know what, if he just never gets to a point where he's okay with it, that's okay. Like, he doesn't have to get there. There's no reason that he has to be okay with strangers coming up and petting him. I don't want strangers coming up and petting me, so I don't blame him. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. The leash thing, you know, I would definitely just have your parents do it anyways. You know, go with them, but that's just something that's going to make your life difficult in those cases if you don't fight things like that. If he's super anxious and stuff, I mean, during COVID, I wouldn't let anybody pet my pup because it can't, you know, there is stories of it transmitting to them, so I definitely wouldn't allow that. But that being said, in the future, at some point, you know, they don't have to pet him if that's the case. And if you want to try to get him to a point, obviously you can go through training. We used off-leash. and a lot of practice, or you can use Robert Cabral like we've partnered with down below. And it's just a lot of practice. I mean, even though Lotus doesn't love it, I still want him to be at a point where I can take him places. So I do, before all this happened, I would take him to Lowe's and stuff pretty regularly, but I didn't try to make people pet him or anything. Every once in a while, if it seemed like a calm situation, somebody asked, I would kind of give him the disclaimer, and I would kind of hold him, you know, and let him see if they could get kind of close or whatever. But, you know, it's just not worth the risk sometimes. So I would maybe seek out some training, but otherwise it may not be his thing. All right, so we've had some longer answered questions, but I still wanted to do a couple more. Amit Gaikwad asks, can I feed dry dog food in wet form? I mean, wet with water, then feed it to them. Is it okay? I don't see why not. We do this sometimes, so I don't really see why that would be an issue. Hafsa Tariq, I'm sure that's not how that's pronounced, but why did you not adopt a dog instead of buying them? It saves other dogs' lives. I am adopting a husky from the Siberian Husky Welfare Association. That's awesome. I would always encourage people to adopt. Having cats, we just didn't want to put them in a stressful situation any more than necessary, so we like them having that advantage of the size difference. So that was just a decision that we made. Curly Sue asks, how do you get them to listen when there are other people or dogs around? I have going on 6 months German Shepherd pup. She listens really well and good with her trainer, but when my sister brings her 1-year-old Alaskan Husky, not trained, around, she ignores me and her training. So that just comes back to distractions and practice. You know, it's very easy to teach them to do something in a secluded environment, in a distraction-free zone, you know, teach them something in your house. That's very easy. It's much harder to do when you're out and about. That's just something that takes a lot of time. You know, I have videos of Enzo, I have photos of Enzo where he's like in a sit position when there's people walking around and he doesn't care. He's not, hardly pays attention to them at all. He's just focused on me. And that just comes with time. That's something that, you know, when he learned how to sit and hold a sit and so forth, it wasn't something that, okay, now let's take him out and stick him in the middle of the sidewalk and he'll be fine. No, like, it doesn't work that way. It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. Other dogs are usually going to be the biggest distraction thing. Some things you can do to work on that, though, however, is you can have like dog sounds, or when you see other dogs, like if you go to the park or something, you see other dogs, they see them other, that's a great time to work on some training. Obviously have them on a leash, but it's a great time to focus on, hey, sit down, you know, whatever training it is you're working on, do it when you have those distractions around. Leslie Gonzalez asks, I am taking my bicolor German Shepherd camping and sometimes he whines a little when he sees another dog. Yeah, I mean, they're going to do that. What would you recommend doing? I mean, they're like other dogs. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. The more they see him, probably the less they're going to do it. Also, he likes the water, but he doesn't like to go where he can't touch the ground. Do you think a life jacket would boost his confidence? Well, they don't really know what a life jacket does, so no, probably not going to boost their confidence. That being said, I would highly encourage you to put a life jacket on them. That would make me feel safer in most cases. River or a lake or something, by all means, definitely. And it might help. I'm not saying it wouldn't help them. I meant that more as a joke. Like, here's a life jacket. Do you feel safer now? But if they wear it and go out there and notice that, hey, I don't seem to sink as quickly, then yeah, it might. Do Enzo and Lotus like the water? So Enzo is okay with it, up kind of the same thing. He just doesn't like to go where he can't really touch. He can swim, like he's done it by accident. He'll swim back. Lotus, that's honestly something that I need to do with him. When he has another bath day coming up soon, I think we're going to do that. That's something I wish I would have done with both of them sooner, and I didn't. Now, we have gotten like a little kiddie pool out, and even that, I'll see if I can find a clip and insert it. But that was a nightmare, just trying to get Lotus to get in. You know, I'm never a fan of like forcing them to do something, but that was one scenario where I basically like lifted him up and put him in because he just absolutely refused. And then once he got in, he was like, oh, okay, not a big deal. So sometimes too, and again with COVID, it's a little harder, but if you have like a friend, more likely they have another pup that they're friends with, that you feel safe being around right now, they may be more inclined. If that pup likes to get in the water, they may be more inclined to go in the water because they're in it. Or if you throw their favorite toy out there, they may be more inclined to go fetch it. It just depends. Enzo was like, nah, I'm not falling for that. I did both. I tried it with another pup, and I tried it with his favorite toy. He wasn't having it. He fell for the toy once. He was like, no. Ali Patuna is how, I'm not sure how that username is pronounced. How do you train a dog for life in the wilderness? As I do a lot of bushcraft camping and a lot of hiking and wilderness. So I am not a hiking or wilderness person expert, but I will say that the way you get them used to anything in life is just practice more of it. You know, one of the things that I do with my pups that probably a lot of people don't necessarily do as much is I wash my cars a lot. Well, that's an issue. Trust me, if you ever try to wash a car with a puppy, they're like, oh, this is the greatest thing. I want to run under the car and get all soapy and all that, and that's a nightmare. So the first time I washed a car with one of them as a pup, it took me like 3 hours because I'm like, no, get back. And then finally like, okay, you need to go in your crate, or like, you know, it's a nightmare. But after a lot of practice, they're at a point where they're like, okay, I just ignore that. It's not a big deal. And that's kind of what I find is the case for most things in life. Tobin asked, do you wipe your dog's butts? If we feel that they need it, we do. We have diaper wipes just in case. Lynette asked, did you make a cake for Lotus's birthday? So by the time you're watching this, the birthday vlog will be up and you can watch and find out. Amid Salih, this was another one I wanted to answer. It's kind of similar to one we'd had before. Basically, he's got an 8-month-old who keeps breaking through the fence to get to his sister next door. So obviously you could put in a stronger fence. You're saying your sister, I don't know if it is actually their sister, like it's their biological sister, if you're just saying that, I'm not sure. But regardless, they want to play with that other pup, so they're being encouraged to get there. I don't know how much you let them play. I mean, I know you say that when they do play, you let them play for a while, but it could be a thing where they're just not getting enough of it. So maybe if you let them do it a little bit more. Obviously, training could be a big help to that. So obviously, we've gone through training, or you could do like Robert Cabral's training. But that's going to be watching them. So yes, we have fence in our backyard, but I don't ever leave them. I mean, I may like walk in the garage for a moment or something, but I'm never just leaving them outside. That's a whole different animal if that's what you're doing. At which point, yeah, I mean, you might have to invest in a much stronger fence or something. I'm not sure. Florence Liskus asks, how do you keep your house tidy from dog hair? What type of vacuum do you use? Thank you. So we have a few different vacuums that we use. We have a couple Roombas, we have a Dyson. They're all linked in the Amazon store below. You can check them out. Destiny Burns asks, what line of German Shepherd breed is Lotus? They're both working line. I don't know any more detail than that, really. Yeah, you say like yours is European line. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on those details. Isaac T asks, at what age do you let your dogs roam free around the house? So this is a very detailed process that we go through in the potty train video. So I will link that below and you can kind of watch that and learn all that. Harvey Walker asked, when you go buy the dog from the breeder, can you tell if the dog will be calm? Love the videos, by the way. Maybe. You know, in retrospect, there were some signs of Lotus's reactiveness. But at the same time, when he's not being reactive, he's the most calm, chill pup there is. Enzo has no reactive issues, but he gets very anxious and, you know, wants to go do things. So I can't personally tell. I don't know that you could, you know, unless maybe if they had some references of people who had gotten pups prior in previous litters to where you could follow up and just be like, hey, how's their demeanor? What's this like? What's that like? Maybe that way. KJ asks, do you only use the seatbelt harness on Lotus when it's just him in the car? Also, is it a hassle to put it on and take it off? So we don't only use it when it's just him, but I think what you're referring to is I posted a photo on Instagram a couple weeks ago when I had to take Lotus to the vet. It was just me and Lotus, and I had him in the front seat. That's why I definitely was going to have that on him. I don't think it's a hassle to put on and off, especially considering the benefits. Pretty simple, really. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did a video on it. So yeah, I did. I will link that. D. Gonzalez asked, my German Shepherd won't leave her puppies to use the restroom. What do I do? Do I have to stay up all night to watch them? I have no idea. I don't know anything about breeding, so I would definitely try to maybe reach out to a vet or something. Obviously, you left this several days ago, this question, so hopefully you found an answer, but I would probably start with asking a vet. Megan Lee asked, how could I train my German Shepherd to eat slowly but without the use of a slow feeder? Honestly, I would probably just use the slow feeder. Lotus had that issue in the beginning. I think maybe because he was a runt, we're not sure. But when I would get food out, he was crazy. I mean, he was just the most, oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm gonna get food. So we had to use a slow feeder. It was a struggle for a while until he finally just, I think, one day it just kind of clicked like, you know, they're gonna keep giving me food. I don't need to stress out about this anymore. And then from that point on, he's like the slowest eater ever. Nelson E asked, do you recall the first time you went out in the park on your own with Enzo and Lotus off leash? Were you nervous at all? So I do recall because neither one of them were trained the first time they were off a leash. Basically, if you've seen the park that we normally go to, there's like baseball fields and parts of it have like a fence and stuff. What the wife and I would do is like one of us would stand at one end and the other one stand at the other end and like let them go and be like, hey, come here. And they would come running. To say we were nervous, yeah, but we took a ton of precautions. Now, if you're talking about how you've seen the videos where they're just running around seemingly doing whatever they want, I didn't do that sort of stuff until they were trained. There's no way to guarantee a recall otherwise. All right, I think maybe we got time for one more. Kathy Loveberg asks, Will and Nisha, how did you train your pups to heel and walk beside you before they went to off-leash canine? This is the one thing that has been difficult with Daisy, and I apparently don't know how to ask her. She's a puller. Unless we use a prong collar on her, she is 3 months old. So, Kathy, we didn't teach them to heel. That was something they learned at off-leash, and they can't even go to off-leash till 5.5. So, I would say two things. One, she's probably a little young to fully grasp that concept. And two, don't really know because I didn't have to do it. Having gone through off-leash once with Enzo, I could have probably taught Lotus. To me, it's always better to go through the training. Now, like I said, we do partner with Robert Cabral now. That's linked below, so he has a ton of trainings. You could definitely check those out. Again, at 3 months though, Daisy's still pretty young. So with that, I think we're gonna end it there. I'm sorry if didn't get to your question. I will post another one of these. We'll do another one in about a week, so try to get your question in there. So with that being said, appreciate you guys as always. Subscribe for more German Shepherd content. This Friday we will do another Frequently Asked Friday question as well. Not sure what the topic is. I've shot a few of them. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet, though. Don't forget to donate to Hera, and you can get some free stickers. Appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later. Well, I was just about to say you knew I was done, so you're laying here all calm, but Lotus heard a squirrel 3 counties over and had to take off. Oh, such a good boy. Yeah, such a good boy. It's on your nose. Lotus. Lotus, buddy, just... Oh, hi, buddy. Hi. Lotus, come. Lotus, no. We're not chewing the concrete. Jeez. You gonna be in the video? Yeah. Oh, you gonna answer the questions? You got all the answers? Yeah, I know. I should have you do it.